Good afternoon. It's 5 p.m. and time for the May 14th, 2024 regular scheduled meeting of the Niagara Parish School Board. Board members and visitors, please silence your electronic devices such as cell phones to not interrupt the meeting. Before we sit and before we stand, I'd like to take a moment of silence before we do sit and recognize a long-term educator at Niagara Parish. Mr. Frady, would you do our invocation?
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Dear Lord, we thank you for all those that are here that are being recognized tonight. Lord, we ask that you guide our students, our teachers and faculty as they finish out this year and they are released for their break. Dear Lord, we ask that you guide us in our conversations and our decision making in tonight's meeting. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Address the flag. We have to take your pick. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we sit, I'd like to take a moment of silence to recognize Ms. Nelda Faye Lyles, a long-term educator at Niagara Parish with over 30 years of service, passed away last week. And Ms. Nelda did a great job for us. Thank you very much. Okay, roll call, Ms. Ruggles. We have a long-standing tradition at Niagara Parish School Board. Sometimes we don't always follow it or have a roll call.
Mr. Danzy.
Here.
Mr. McGuire. Mr. Benefield.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Ms. McGaskey. Here. Ms. Palmer. Ms. Phelps. Here. Ms. Harvey. Here. Mr. Fradu.
Here.
Mr. Nicholson.
Here.
And Ms. Page. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. A number of dates that are still coming up. Graduations, NPTCC on May 15th at 6 p.m. at A. Fredericks Auditorium. Lakeview on the 16th, Lakeview High School on the 16th at 7 p.m. at A. Fredericks. Niagara Central High School on the 17th at 7 p.m. at Prather Coliseum. We have May 23rd, Niagara Parish School Board retirees from 2024 with a total of 472 years of service to recognize those folks. May 21st, Town Hall meeting at Weaver starting at 5:30. May 23rd, Lakeview, a meet and greet with Mr. Stepp, the principal, at 6 p.m. and a Town Hall meeting. And May 24th at Niagara Central High School, Town Hall at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, your Tier 3 is due, your financial statements at stake. I'm sure the Ethics Board would love to hear from you. And with the board's permission, I'd like to draft a letter and send it to you out thanking the faculty and staff for the many things that work so well in this school year with your permission. Okay. Superintendent Eagle.
So
Can you fill us in? I don't have the junior high schedules in front of us. They're on the calendar, right?
I can tell you that May 20th is Province Hall, and I'm looking for a Marthaville staff member as
I don't see one in
16th. So May 16th for Marthaville. But yeah, Province Hall is May 20th. Yes. And then NJH doesn't do a graduation; they do a celebration, and I can share that with y'all as soon as I.
Thursday morning.
Correct. So before I turn it over to Miss Linda Page, because she is kind of the master of ceremonies on this board meeting to recognize all these fine folks in here, I do want to take a moment. We had a bus accident last Friday, a field trip of magnet students with parents and teachers going to Six Flags. It's not something we usually bring up at a board meeting, but first off, I want to say it was not the Echo Ride driver's fault, so that's first and foremost. But the reason I bring it up is because despite the fact that they were in Dallas, and despite the fact that the buses seemingly were okay, Jacob Watson, our new terminal manager, took it upon himself, before I even asked him or anything, to drive all the way to Dallas to make sure those buses were in good order while the students were still in the park having fun. They only lost 1 hour in the park, and then Mr. Watson went and did that. I also want to thank the Dallas School District, City of Dallas School District, because they also, while the buses were in the parking lot, free of charge and without any request, came and checked out the buses as well. So it's nice when school districts kind of help each other out. But, you know, just very blessed that nothing happened to the students, nothing happened to any of the individuals. They were still able to have fun. But when someone goes above and beyond, as Mr. Watson did, we want to call that out. It's much appreciated. So with that being said, we now would like to honor, and Ms. Page has to explain this, these are our teachers and principals of the year and support personnel of the year. They were named last year, but they served this year.
We have the timeline to show.
And so you might be like, I thought we just named someone different this year. That is correct. But they will serve their tenure as kind of like for beauty pageants. They will serve the following year. So.
Okay, so this always makes me so happy. I think besides Students of the Year, this is one of the best times of the year. This marks one of our favorite times of the year. It is when we celebrate all the incredible individuals who contribute to education. And this year more than ever. Am I right? This year more than ever, education professionals are going above and beyond their job descriptions. And I would say a whole lot of other stuff, but it's hot and you're standing. And I just appreciate you for coming. So I won't take a lot of time. I would like to say that we thank you for putting all those extra hours and missing those nights of sleep and when your family is calling for you and wanting you to be present and you're not. You're thinking about somebody else's child, trying to see how you can reach them or what could you have done differently or whatever it might be. We thank you for that. We thank you for that. We thank the families for sharing your people with us. We thank the pastors who get you together. We thank on-time fitness, whatever it is, walking trails, your pets, whatever gets you together so that you can bring your best to us. We thank you. So at this time, we're going to, and let me thank everybody else who contributed to this day. Miss Angela Lazarus, that food, oh my God. Miss China Paris. Penrod, excuse me. She's helped me put all this stuff together and she just does it with a smile and all that. And Mr. Washington for letting us have a little money. Okay, so at this time we're going to go by schools first and then we're going to recognize some school representatives and then the district winners. So where's our little presentation? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so NPSB Employees of the Year 2023 through 2024. And so this is what I'm talking about because I say it every year and it's confusing and it's confusing to you. Sometimes we will send out invitations and the people will say, well, I know, I was just selected. Well, that's next year. I was selected last year. We didn't do anything. Well, that's this year. So if you would go to LDOE, it will show you the way it's done. So if your name is chosen by your school, by a committee, or however it's done, that's usually in October. We usually decide on a district winner, November, maybe December, but usually November. And then during the summer, in the month of July, we go to this fabulous gala. Oh my God, that's all I'm going to say because Mrs. Shirley is going to share her experience with you. She was one of the finalists, but I'll talk about that later. But they go through the process in July, and then the next year, we recognize you. So you were chosen in 22. We made decisions in 23. And then we recognize you in 24. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's meet our school level winners. We have category winners, teacher of the year, new teacher of the year, support personnel of the year, school health care provider of the year, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have at least 8 more categories next year. We live in a world now where we recognize as many people as we can, and I don't have a problem with that. Anybody working with children, if you're helping children, I don't have a problem with recognizing you in your particular category, so get ready. So for Ms. Kenyatta Hilaire and Ms. Cynthia Longmire, we have our representatives from East Natchitoches Elementary School.
Did you want them to come up and get
I
their?
do. Yes. I was thinking, do I wait until then? Let's do it. Okay, so. And this is the part that's really hard for me. Y'all know I like to talk when I decide to talk. I don't like to talk to the board members though. I don't like to talk to the board members. But let me say this, I try not to say anything about anybody because I could say something about everybody. The people in this room have some of the most amazing stories. I mean, and I know a bunch of them. So I just try not to say anything so I won't skip over some people and say too much about one person and not enough about another. Okay. Fairview Alpha. Miss Haley Norwood. Oh, Miss Waters. Okay, Miss Waters looks a little different.
Let's compare.
But we really have Miss Waters. She couldn't make it, and I think we swapped some pictures. And it's okay. It's okay. Miss Norwood. And Miss Christmas. Did Miss Christmas make it?
No.
She did not. Miss Norwood. Miss Norwood, you kind of look like you like that. So go down to elementary, junior high school. Miss Caitlin Hatton. Here she is. Okay, that's my baby girl. Oh, I said I wasn't gonna say anything, but she was my student worker, and that's my honey bun. Thank you. And she was our new teacher of the year. We started recognizing new teachers last year, and here you go, honey bun. Miss Amy Silas. Our elementary teacher of the year, Miss Andrea Maiden. Oh, there we go. Is Miss Anita here? Okay, come. I come to you a few minutes ago. It's a he, it's a he. Thank you, congratulations.
Here, okay, could you guys move over here so we get the camera out? He's tall enough so I can get him behind him and you guys, not so much. Could you open up your certificates? Thank you. Okay.
Congratulations, yo. Thank you.
You never do, okay. Okay, then here I go again. I'm not supposed to say this, but you know, this slide right here. Miss Ross was just one of the most amazing people during orientation. Okay, I said I wasn't doing it, but you know. Okay, Miss Lawson, I'm not supposed to say all the things she does for the children who may not even recognize sometimes on their birthdays. I'm not. Miss Jennifer Weatherford, that's my friend. Hello. That's how she speaks. I'm not going to. So Ms. Lawson came to stay.
I know.
Every time.
There you go. Thank you.
Everyone take notice of Mr. Shanahan's orders before you get up here. Open.
Okay. Okay, forget what I said. Lakeview High School, I didn't know Miss Mallett was even going to make it because she was with her group today. She had some young ladies, where are you? Okay, she was with some young ladies today, and she said, Miss Page, I won't be able to come. We'll be at the Capitol on that day, and I'll be there with my students. And I went, wow. So send pictures, because that's amazing. You're doing what you do. You're being an amazing teacher. Then she sent me an email today to say, I think we'll make it. So, Miss Mallett.
Poking over your head, so can I be over here?
Is Miss Winslow there? Okay, all right. And Miss Michelle Winslow is our support
Thank you.
person of the year, lady. Marthaville, Miss Dubois, Miss Jessica Powell make it? Miss Sean Powell? Didn't make it, okay. And Mr. Ferrier, did he make it? No, okay. Marthaville Elementary, you're our people, you will represent for everybody, right? And she can. I've been in her room, she can.
Excuse me. Could you scoot over my foot? Try to keep that pesky camera out of the way.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Congratulations.
M.R. Weaver, Miss Leslie Branham, Miss Alicia Taylor. You know I really want to say something, don't you? About her classroom skills management.
Congratulations.
But I won't. NSU Elementary Lab School, Ms. Hillary Gray, Ms. Jessica Mooney, our Teacher of the Year, and our Support Person of the Year.
It's not my rules.
You'll find me when the
NSU Middle Lab School, Teacher of the Year, I'll let her express in her own way. Our Teacher of the Year, she was one of our finalists, and Ms. Cheryl Britton couldn't make it tonight. It's our Support Person of the Year. National Central, Teacher of the Year, Akila Isaac, and our Support Person of the Year, Janetta Hubbard. Okay,
They're probably busy with graduation planning.
probably. Okay.
In ring ceremony, that's what it is.
Natchez Junior High, Ms. Jacqueline Rainwater, Teacher of the Year, Mr. Richard Moody, Support Person of the Year, Ms. Wren, School Health Care Provider of the Year. Any of them? Okay. Natchez Magnet, Ms. Amelia Ferguson, Elementary Teacher of the Year. I know she's here, that's all, okay. Stephanie Sowell, that's my eating buddy.
Stand next to her.
That's what I am.
Thank you.
You want to get
Karen Prothero.
Yeah, it's good.
Go way back, don't we, Ms. Prothero? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everyone, leave me a smile. Thank you. Congratulations.
Natchez Parish Technical and Career Center, Mr. Caleb Oldham, our Teacher of the Year, Ms. Cheryl Armstrong, our Support Personnel of the Year, and Ms. Ann Hester, she couldn't make it either. She's our School Health Care Provider of the Year. I have to say something about this. You know, being a nurse, you do a lot of traveling. They don't have substitute nurses. You know, if a nurse is out, they just cover. 2 nurses are out, they just cover. And so we asked Ms. Hester to move around a little bit, and she just did. And so that means a lot, because they don't have subs. They just do what they need to do. Okay. Next is Virtual Academy. Ms. Barbara Hillman, Teacher of the Year. Did she make it? Mrs. Sandra Calhoun, our support personnel.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Problem solved. Ms. Beverly Broadway is our Elementary Teacher of the Year. Ms. Deanna Elkins. Yes, yes. And Ms. Carla Solora.
Congratulations. See you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me just say one more thing. The support, well, okay, 2 minutes. The support personnel, I always start with them. I usually start with them because it's our support people who get them ready for the teachers. They spot them, they know who needs a little extra check-in, they need to know if somebody needs to change of clothes, if they need a hair comb, if they need a little deodorant, whatever it is, a little snack. They're the people who spot them and get them ready to walk in the classroom. So I just feel a whole lot of extra things for those people because they go out of their way to make it right so that the students will have a good day. And so at this time, I'm going to have the principals of the district winners to come and speak because I want you to know some of the things that they do when they're going above and beyond for our children. They don't do it for recognition. They don't get paid extra. They just do it, and you can't even stop. Sometimes you say, you did what? And they'll say, yeah. And they give you that look like, and I'll do it again. And that's really what we want. Okay, so our first person will be our support personnel of the year. Oh, it's okay. Okay. Our support personnel of the year. Yeah. Miss Lawson. And Miss Davis.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such an honor to be able to speak on behalf of this fabulous, y'all give her a hand just for how she's dressed. It is such an honor to be able to speak very briefly about Ms. Jackie Lawson. I have 3 things I want to share. She's a special caregiver. She goes out of her way to care for each one of our 611 students at LP Vaughn. The way that she's able to produce so many meals for breakfast and lunch, that's 1,200 meals per day, and every child goes with a meal. And good meals at that, but I'll get to that later. Not to knock anyone else's cafeteria manager, but we're right behind Nagana Central, and what Miss Jackie can do with her staff, whether there are 4 people at work, 5, 6, 7, 8, they make it happen every day. So she's a special caregiver. She's also a selfless champion for our students. It doesn't matter what they need. The washing machine is going. I don't know what's in it. She may be washing clothes. She may be washing shirts or socks or shoes. And next thing I know, I go in her office. I see some size 6 shoes, some small shoes. And I know they're not for her. I don't ask any questions. But I do have some students that say, well, Miss Davis, look what Miss Jackie did for me. We don't discuss it. But I know that she is a selfless champion for our students. She reminds them every day to do their best. If they're not having a good morning, they need a little more time in the cafeteria, she gives it to them. She walks them to class to make sure that they get where they need to be. And lastly, after being a special caregiver, a selfless champion for students, she is a superb chef. We have so many people that come to LP Vaughn just around lunchtime. And we don't, some district staff, and we're like, oh, you came to see us? I didn't see you in the hallway, but I saw you in the kitchen, especially on gumbo day. So she is a superb chef. Our students appreciate their meals that her and her lovely staff does. So I just want you to know that on behalf of myself and the whole Cub family, we appreciate you. And I'm excited that for this opportunity for others to see the great things that she does. Thank you.
Ms. Davis, let's all three get in the picture.
Come on, Miss Tracy.
Got you guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you for all you do.
Oh, and Miss Hester could not be here, but I've already told you about this. All right. And baby girl, Miss Hatton. Do we have? Miss Hatton is our district new teacher of the year.
Thank you.
Miss Broadway and Miss Curtis.
I'm excited to be able to honor Miss Broadway tonight. She's an amazing lady with so many talents. She's been teaching since 1999. She has taught junior high math. She was a Natchitoches Children's Librarian at one point. She has been at Provençal since 2018 teaching our first grade students. And this year specifically, she teaches every first grade student at Provençal ELA. And she does a fabulous job, so kudos to her. But it's not just what she does for our students that's so impressive about Miss Broadway. She has so many other talents, and one of the most fascinating things I think about her is that she gets up at 4 a.m. to teach Chinese students how to speak English. I know. So she's not only influencing.
So that's who's doing it.
She's teaching them how to have conversations, good grammar. She's reporting feedback to the parents. I mean, so she's got this whole other life. So not only does she influence the students in Provençal, she's influencing students around the world. And that's just one of the most amazing things I think that make her so amazing. She also mentors resident teachers. So they get a really good start when they're assigned to Miss Broadway. She does a fabulous job. She's also our 4-H sponsor. So, I mean, she's multifaceted, and she does such great work every single day. You could have picked a better choice for an elementary teacher of the year than Miss Broadway.
Sister teaches
Ma'am, could you shift over a couple feet?
Chinese, English stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
What's the name of that company? That's what it is. Come on, Miss
Now,
Shirley.
Miss Shirley. You know what? Miss Cole and Miss Dakota, they're both kind of tied up.
They both said no.
I know, I was like,
But you know what? It's perfect because she advocates so well for herself. And she can share her experience better than any of them could. I heard her do it, so I should do it tonight. Would you please share some of your experience?
hi, I'm Miss Shirley. Nice to meet you, Michelle Shirley. I was a finalist for Teacher of the Year, top 9. That was really exciting. So she kind of highlighted about the journey that you do through the Teacher of the Year program. In June, at the Teacher Leader Conference, they actually announced the semifinals at the conference. And so you walk in, and they announced it at this giant, it was a giant room full of people.
5,000.
And you have to like stand up and kind of like wave, and then you sit down, and then they invite you into lunch, and it's really kind of cool. You walk in, and there's all these giant posters of your face, and so you're like celebrating because you're like, yeah, I made it, and then you go home, and then you realize that there's more essays and videos to record and things to post because it is quite a process. But then later in July they have
the gala, and that's where the picture is from. And they have it at the World War II Museum in New Orleans. And the best way to put it would be like teacher prom, but like on like steroids.
Which is similar to my prom because I still didn't have a date that night. My wife didn't come with me, so.
He left her in the hotel room, actually. Yeah. But you know, you go and there's people that support you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was true. And they call you to the stage and they go through all of the different winners for elementary division and middle school, and you get really excited because you know you don't want to win necessarily middle school the teacher of the year. You want to win the big one, and then the last thing they announce is teacher of the year, and it was not me. But
we said really bad things about her.
yes, we did. It made me feel very supported in their hate. So, but yeah, it was a good process. And then you come back and then you kind of reflect on the whole process, and it does make you it makes you think about what you do as a teacher and why you do the things you do and what makes you so special. Especially advocating for yourself, because I think when it comes to teachers, that's one thing that we don't do enough is to highlight what we do and what we do so well in our own classrooms. And so I guess that's my moment out of it. So yeah. But.
We've never had a finalist. We had, I won't even talk about the one that won 100 years ago, but we've not had a finalist. It's big. Okay? All right. Don't do it. Don't do
Get your plug.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's
Thank you.
I also offered to pay for her dinner one night at Teacher Leader, and she accepted, which was great, but then she ordered the most expensive thing.
That's not true.
Smile and go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Mallett. Mrs. Winter. Wait.
I am so elated to stand here with her. She is truly the definition of a quiet storm. We were in our trainings one day last week, and she was called upon to do something, and she was just kind of soft-spoken. I said, you got to use your teacher voice. She said, this is it. And to hear that and to couple that with the fact when I walk in her classroom, it is just total organization silence. She's just a quiet storm. But when I tell you she loves the students and she puts them first above all else, and I'm getting chill bumps, like for real. She puts them above all else. That is true of Ms. Mallett. So I'm very, very proud of you, and congratulations.
I can say one of the very best students that I ever had. Other than me.
I recruited her when she was a student of it. Really? Okay, and now for our principal of the year. She's kind of Miss Brooke Williams is in her 30th year. She spent 18 years in kindergarten, 3 years as an assistant principal, 11 years as principal at Fairview Alpha. And I will say that, that guy that's standing next to her has pushed us in ways, and we needed it. We were comfortable, and he has pushed us in some ways, and it didn't always feel good. But we have results. We have receipts at this point. And so Brooke was Miss Williams, was one of the first people to truly embrace what that felt like. And she just did what was suggested. And we all tried to follow suit, but it really, really, really paid off for her because she just embraced it. And so in the last 2 years, Fairview's SPS has increased by
17.9.
know what that means and what it takes to get 8.3 is crazy. 17 in 2 years.
17.9.
17.9. In 2 years. And the enrollment has gone up by over 50 students. That's a lot of students. So today, we just want to say we see you, Ms. Williams. Thank you for all you've done for Fairview Avenue. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for dealing with the heat and the standing. Thank you so much.
That's the second most famous picture I've taken in this Holy cow. Pretty close on stage.
So as everyone starts to clear out, no one wants to stay for the full board meeting, unfortunately. They got their certificates. First of all, I want to say thank you to Ms. Page and her team, because she told me last year after we did it, she was just like, I want it to be bigger and better and all that. And I said, okay. And then I totally forgot about it. And she pulled all this off, and we had so many people, and it was such a excellent way to honor those folks. So thank you, Ms. Page. The next group we want to honor, we've talked about teachers and principals and support personnel, and we've talked about Natchez Central last week. Well, now we have Coach Fuller and his staff and Ms. Renter, and we have some of our representatives from the I would say a historical powerhouse of basketball in the state of Louisiana. I think it's fair to say Lakeview Gators are that, and they're one of the few schools that can tout a history both in the boys and the girls teams. So I'm going to just say a quick little thing, then I'm going to have Coach Fuller and Ms. Renter, and then I'm assuming that our two quietest board members from District 7 might have something to say as well. But real quick, just want to say the boys made it to the finals. We were there. It was electric. Probably not the way they wanted it to end, but they represented us just so well. And I keep going back to the fact that was there any other district in the state that had both their boys teams in the championship game? It was so cool and neat to be there and see that. And then also our girls made an amazing run to the semifinals. And just, also electric. But I'm going to turn it over to Coach Fuller, because he's much more eloquent than I am. He can tell us all about the seasons, because he's actually on both staffs. So we'll give him all the credit.
Thank y'all. First of all, thank y'all for having us today. We just blessed. We thank God for everything He's done with these two programs. I tell people it's all about building the foundation, and I feel like Coach Williams brought me in as an assistant and showed me how to build a foundation. And together we have, like the guy said in my interview, it's not about the name on the back of the jersey anymore; it's about the name on the front. So we're just trying to continue a tradition that it has been. And sometimes it is a hard shoot to fill. I mean, no one forgets the undefeated state championship team. So it's a blessing and a curse, but we are very proud of these players. They come in and day out, and they give us all they have. And we couldn't ask for anything more. The support is unreal. Thank the school, all the school board members, and especially our two, Dr. Harris, Pastor Harris, and Mr. Chad. Just thank y'all so much for the things that y'all do. But it's just one phone call, and they're on top of it, and we just really appreciate it. So I need to call them.
It's whatever. It's up to you, Coach. If you want to call them out, or if they annoyed you today, you don't have to.
Well, like I said, we are going to do it together this year. If you could not make it, but the ones that are here, will y'all come to the front? All the players.
Not all at once, guys. Come on.
Boys too.
while they're coming up, I'll say something. Before Coach Fuller come in, I was this last year. I think the year before he come in, the girls won one game, I think. And ever since then, we've been in the playoffs, to the quarterfinals, to the state championship, back in the semis. We all know the history. We all know the history of the boys.
What do you want?
And I know they're losing a lot this year, but these three guys right here, they all got to play this year, and they'll step up next year and make something happen. And how many seniors you losing, Coach Fuller?
I'm losing two. I'm losing two seniors, Alana Henson and Nevaeh Green. If you don't mind, let me take a
Go ahead.
my two seniors.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna miss these two a lot. When I tell you they are the type of students that you love to have. Not only are they great basketball players, both of them will be attending Northwestern this year. They are both honor students, and like I said, it's just been a pleasure to coach them, and I just really believe that the sky's the limit for them. Yes, sir. But now we will be returning most of our starters, so hopefully we'll be able to make a little more noise next year also.
Well, if the two ladies who are seniors, if they're education majors, tell them to come on back in 4 years and we'll do a good job.
She said no.
I'm trying to talk them into, hopefully, get them back on staff in the next few years.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could bunch up a little bit, please.
I want to take the picture and say something as well.
While they're coming, we also like to thank Ms. Reynolds for everything. I think we had sometimes dealing with me and Brian is not the easiest thing.
We know.
But she makes it look very easy.
Okay, could I have everybody look at me, please, and smile and count of three. 1, 2, 3, and go. And 1, 2, 3, and go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to say, when Coach Fuller first took over, I reminded him about the fact that before we were a male powerhouse, we were a female powerhouse on the campus. We won several state championships. So I told him, I said, well, you know, they won several state championships. Coach Fuller said, well, give me about 5 years. Well, a year later, they won like double the amount of games that they had won prior to. The second year, they went and they competed, and I'm like, man, I thought you said give you 5 years. And now they are the team to continue it, and the team that beat them had some great players. Arcadia always compete. And so we didn't hold our heads down at all because they took the state title. Arcadia did take the state title. And I just looked for so much more. Now I'm like, yeah, y'all can do more now. I didn't look, when he told me that they were going to give it 5 years and they did it within about 2 years, I was like, wow. And they just plugged them into a system, and that system just keeps working. And girls that couldn't even dribble a basketball, and they were dribbling. I was like, wow, man, they can dribble basketball now. So, Coach, and to Coach Williams, who does it over and over and over again. Let me tell you something, that's hard to do, especially competing at the level that we compete with these schools. So to both of the programs, keep up the good work, and we're just looking for bigger and better things. And two, thanks to this board, to this, Lee, and then we asked them to get certain things out there, and we get it. I looked up yesterday, a day before yesterday, at plexiglass up there. Thank God, praise the Lord. So we thank God for being able to represent on that side of the run.
And we really do appreciate everything you've done this year, Mr. Watson, Mr. Pilo, with all the upgrades. Don't know if a lot of y'all probably haven't been out there yet, but to me, we have one of the best facilities in the state now. So just thank y'all so much for believing us and getting behind us, both support and financial. But thank y'all.
Thank you, Coach.
And Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Like some of our future performers of America, do some of the best.
Okay, there was a cell phone policy meeting on the 9th, and I'm sure when there's one more meeting scheduled, and they'll come back to us for a recommendation. I think this is one of those things where I don't think anyone will be, we can make everyone happy, but we have to talk and keep safety in the forefront, and also convenience too, and the parents' needs too, as well as the students. If you would, board members, could you consider the consent agenda?
I will offer.
I'll second. We have an offer by Reverend Harris, second by Mr. Michael Nicholson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay. Mr. Wasser, do you have any updates on your informational report?
Everything still remains as presented.
That's great. Ms. Page, anything to add? Okay. Ms. Tankia.
Finance, facilities, services, and insurance. 7A, discuss and consider change cafeteria plan management provider from the First Financial to Hub International.
Ms. Tankia, I would like to make a motion to table this item until we get some further information.
Second.
We have a motion to table this item. Benfield, and second by Mr. Dancy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay.
7B, permission to advertise bids for new AC systems at Nexus High School paid for by Esther Group.
I'll offer.
Second.
We have an offer by Reverend Harris, a second by Mr. Gasky on this item. Any discussion to advertise? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay.
7C, discuss and consider updates to salary schedule for 2024-2025.
I would like to ask that this item be tabled. We have a few updates coming. We would like to, no sense in adopting it this month and re-adopting it again next month. So I would like to offer again that it be tabled.
You can offer.
Okay,
I'll offer.
I would like to ask that.
Okay. Second. All right, Mr. Wascom has requested that we table this item. Thank you for your vernacular there, Mr. Wascom. But anyway,
The motion and the second came from whom?
motion from Benfield, second from Mr. Danzy. There needs to be some few changes, that, like you said, if we adopt it, we're gonna have to come back and change it next month. Doesn't make sense.
Coming from the state.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Item is tabled.
Okay, 7D, discuss and consider offers for land on Highway 9, Preston, Louisiana, and on 4, Natchez, Louisiana.
Okay, I'll offer this item.
Second.
Mr.
Okay,
Watson,
this item is currently in limbo. I have no idea what the final result was. I guess I'm going to have to ask that this be tabled again. We did not hear back if they had accept our counter offer to keep the mineral rights. At this time, I do not have an
right,
offer.
I'll amend my motion to table it.
I'll
Mr. Frey,
second.
you there?
I'll second.
He'd already had it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Motion to table, Ms. Rebels, Benfield, second by Mr. Frey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Thank you.
7F, 7E, change order number 2 on the central office remodel.
Okay, this is
No, sir.
all right.
I'll offer.
Second.
Okay, offer by Reverend Harris, second by Mr. Gasky. Thank you.
This is a change order that we are having paid for by ESSER funds. When all this rained and once they peeled back the insulation to put the spray foam up, it was discovered we have numerous leaks in the gutter in the building next door is rotten now. So we have to do all these fixes. This is basically a request for the roof fix. There's some electrical drop some extra receptacles we'd like to put in. Other than that, this is primarily roofing repair. And at this time, when it gets repaired, it'll be fixed.
187,000 total?
Yes, that's 24,000. That's additional electrical items that were not personally a part of the plan and data drops throughout the building. But also, yes, 187 is roof repair. They are completely redoing the roof.
And none of this is coming from us,
General fund.
it's just ESSA?
Just that, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that because we disturbed the roof?
The roof was
this
that bad.
happened, or?
It was, so like if y'all remember in the boardroom, there was that one leak that you could see.
Right.
So when they removed, we were just able to see the leaks after that fact.
So it was because we disturbed it, it allowed us to see what was really there.
Well, so, some of the leaks were active, and by removing it, we saw where they were, because before what we would do is a leak would come down here, but it may originate over there.
Mhm.
And so we were able, so it's not like we created them by peeling it back, we were just able to see the full picture, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So in other words, that trash can that's been behind me and Mr. Davis for 5 years is gonna go away?
That's correct.
Yeah.
What do people have?
A lot of the gutters were also rotted out. It was amazing to see, and y'all know I'm not a contractor, but how little amount was between the environment and the actual building. Once, very little insulation, less than you'd see in a house or anything, and then very thin walls in some places. In some places, they peel back the insulation, you can see the outside.
And how old was that building?
5 years. It's just due for a new roof.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have an offer and a second on this item. Roll call vote, Ms. Robbins? Okay.
With using these extra funds, do we foresee that causing issues anywhere else we needed extra funds or wanted extra funds?
No, excuse me. No, because we've actually come through and, we do our original budget, and then about every few months we come in with the ESSER budget and say, okay, well, we budgeted for this area to have this much, but we came in, some cases over, some cases under. Honestly, for the most part, we come under. So then what we're able to do is shift things around every few months to cover shortfalls here. And so and I've had this conversation with Ms. Rochelle, our first priority with everything has been student learning recovery. And in that sense, we've covered every initiative we wanted to do and then some. And we still have some money left right now that she asked me the other day, what are the priorities? And I told her, I said, the curriculum pieces, all that, we're always putting those, the pieces of technology before these things. And only when we're able to do that. So you had some districts who did big projects, like we did with the technology center, which I think was necessary, but we only waited on this one until it was obvious that everything else was going to be taken care of. We were under budget with the building next door, for instance, so we can adjust that over there. Okay.
Let me ask a question while we're talking about roof repair, because when Mr. Shirley gave us a listing of repairs at the building schools, and I had asked before about the school at the Natchez Junior High being repaired, so the explanation was that we had to wait until we got settlement from the insurance. Was this because of the weather? I mean,
yes, ma'am. It was that
two different situations.
It was two different storms, and here's the weirdness of ESSER is we were doing this as an HVAC project because y'all know we had to fully replace that. And one of ESSER's major things is to improve air quality and all that. So because of that, because of replacing HVAC, well, part of air quality is the fact that you also can't have leaks and things of that. So the roof can be parlayed into that. The NGH piece isn't about air quality, it's just about the fact that we have a leaky roof, and that one was, to your point, caused by the original Hurricane Laura, and we're dealing with that literally every time it rains.
Is there a way, I don't know if we have to go into executive session to discuss some of that, but we can get an update on that at some point? Because the roof issue that she gets the calls about, we get.
Oh, no, 100%. We don't-
We're to a point, we don't know what to say.
No, we can get,
I don't know.
Joe Stamey to come, and it doesn't have to be an executive session.
I don't-
Well, we can, if there's any sensitive information that's to the law, to the,
Legal action.
legal action, we can go in executive session, but I'll ask him if it's sensitive, we'll do that. If it's not sensitive, then he can do it open. But I can get that scheduled for June if y'all like.
Yes, it's good to have that
It would
clarification.
be helpful for me, because I get hit up about roof leaks a lot.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Rose, are we ready to?
Yes, so we're on E, 7E, motion by Mr. Harris, second by Ms. McGaskey. Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes,
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
She had to leave.
Got a daughter.
Ms. Harvey?
yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
7F, change order number 3 on the central office remodel.
I have an offer by Reverend Harris, second by Mr. Danzy on this item. Mr. Watson.
Okay, this item is, looking at the building, and the windows. This is a separate request. You know how we broke the building next door is AC repair, bathroom repair? We're going to make this, how do we call it, phrase it, energy efficiency, upgrades to the building.
So this will be
a
this is
separate
also-
line item in in our grant request for ESSER 3. This is still ESSER 3.
But this is also contingent on, the contractor has told us that windows are part of air quality because they're the easiest source for air to exit and the efficiency. Again, I'm not a contractor. We are stating that to LDOE. They will be the final determinant if it is. So this is a motion that you're voting contingent upon. If ESSER doesn't pay for it, it won't be done.
No freeze, okay. Any more discussion on this item? Ms. Rebels, are you caught up today? Let's do a roll call vote on this item.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes,
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps? Sorry. Ms. Harvey?
yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
7G, approve canvassing resolution for Consolidated School District 7.
I'll offer.
Okay, we have an offer by Mr. Fredo and a second by
I second.
Pastor Harris. On this item, Mr. Watson, can you read that resolution, just that paragraph?
Resolution providing for the canvassing of returns and declaring the results of the special election held in Consolidated School District Number 7 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, April 27, 2024, to authorize the levy of a special tax therein.
Good deal. We don't need a roll call on this, folks. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Thank you, board members from District 7 for offering and seconding that motion.
I was just wondering. I'm gonna let it die.
7H, discuss and consider amended teacher relocation stipend policy.
Okay. You know, Superintendent, you're probably the best.
Well, I'm waiting for,
Oh,
Get a motion.
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll offer.
Okay, second.
Okay, we have an offer by Mr. Fredo and a second by Pastor Harris. Thank you.
okay, so as y'all are aware, we've done teacher relocation stipends, I think, for the past 2 years. Every year we've done it, we've pivoted a little based on what we project our needs to be. The first year, it was a few schools that were high need. The next year, we expand that a little bit. In this final year, we would like to extend it to anyone outside of parish who decides to come to Natchitoches. Now, we believe, because actually right now, if you look at economically disadvantaged schools, That is every school in Natchitoches Parish with the exception of the 2 lab schools. So that's one major reason to offer these folks, but this is kind of the last push with this ESSER money, and we'd like to get some dividends paid off of that. Now, some things we put in place that I'm kind of really excited about, we really put some more severe, I would say almost aggressive language in terms of, this is a 2-year commitment. If you don't do this commitment, we will come after a refund, whether a full or a prorated portion, depending on if you leave during that time. Also, we have made it very specific that if you have been employed with Natchitoches Parish Schools in the past 3 years, you are not able to come get this. What we don't want is someone who left us last year, and then all of a sudden they said, well, I'm going to come right back over and get this money, and it doesn't sit well with folks. We want to get highly qualified people who want to come and stay in Natchitoches and invest in our kids. And if you see those totals over there, I know some of those numbers are, they're a little surprising, especially the larger ones. I can tell you in the past 2 years, we've only paid out 1 stipend at that highest amount. Because those are people who, and we also added the word consecutive. That was something that people struggle with. You have to have consecutive years of being highly effective to get those highest payouts. We also put that we will do, because I know y'all get these questions a lot, we will pay out 30 days after you sign your contract, up until the last date being September 15th, because the ESSER money has to be spent and accounted for by the end of September of 24. So I feel that we've really kind of learned through this process and made a kind of a beefier, I guess that's the only word I can come up with, policy. And I think in this final year, we push to get some of these folks from surrounding areas and keep them. And I think if we can keep them for 2 years and show them our culture and have good leadership, we can keep them for the long haul.
It's a continuation of the initiative that we started 3 years ago to not only recruit and track, but grow our own. So
yes, sir.
This is part of it. Any discussion on this side?
This is the last year.
This is the last year.
No,
no more relocation, or this is not the CRR stipend. The CRR stipend was staying at those schools. And that's another thing. The relocation for the most part had been CR schools. We've removed some of those labels. And the other issue is other schools still have needs. Natchitoches Central never was a part of this. Magnet was never a part of it. But just because they weren't doesn't mean they don't still have recruiting needs. So this, I can tell you, I've talked to principals about this. Every principal is like, yes, please. Please make it easier for us to recruit the best people. So.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Rhodes.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Brenneville?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Mrs. Phelps? Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fradu?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Can I say something else about what you were talking about? One of the biggest things that happened at Fairview, the reason we have people coming back to it, I think it was Lee and you asked me about the situation. The conversation came back up just the other day with me and Chad and the people at Fairview. And I asked them this question specifically. What did we do to create the numbers rising the way they have? And as Ms. Williams and them were speaking just a few minutes ago, great product will produce great numbers wanting to get there. And so I think that's what happened. If you produce better products, which are students, then you got more folks who want to be a part of that school. So that's what's happening. And that's what has to happen all over our district. When I look at the fact, I go back to my children who had, they were exposed to the very best. But every school don't have that. And that's what somebody needs to tell the governor about what he's done concerning the taking away the ability for the the graduation deal that they just did. And we've got a group of people right now getting together to go down there and fight for this, because when you don't understand the fact that every school does not have highly and effective teachers, that these kids can pass the LEAP or exit exam or whatever the case may be. So we do have to do something about that. That's hurting our districts, and Dr. Eloy can tell you that, especially when it comes to Mr. Benjamin School. You know, we were graduating a whole lot more at Mr. Benjamin School, but now it's not going to be that way. And that's some of the most needed children that I go over and have to look down in a casket because this kid done gave up now.
Thank you, Pastor Harris. Ms. Powell? I don't think there's an I. I'm sorry. I don't think there's.
7 asterisk, discuss and consider NPSB's plan for LDOE, MFP, differentiated pay distribution for instructional staff.
I'll offer that item. Second by Ms. Powell.
Okay, so if y'all recall, last legislative session, Dr. Brumley pushed for a portion of the MFP formula to be put into differentiated compensation. It's a little, at the state level, a little split. A lot of people don't understand it or against it, but it passed last year, and we believe that it's going to be something that sticks with the MFP formula moving forward. We have waited a while because we thought it just needed a lot of discussion and consideration. I've been in several last meetings where superintendents are really struggling with it because we're glad they put the money in there, but if you look at the allocation for Natchitoches Parish, and we're not upset that they gave us $192,000, but in terms of doing something really substantial, when you have the number of teachers we have, and the ratio is the same for any district, that $192,000 does not go very far in terms of impacting what they're asking us to do. So there's 4 areas where you can choose to do that, and if you look at your policy, it'll show you that. You can do stipends for teachers in critical shortage areas, stipends for highly effective teachers, stipends for teachers working in high-need schools, and stipends for teacher leadership positions. Well, some of those we kind of automatically looked at and said, we're not going to go there because, for instance, many of our teacher leaders are already receiving substantial stipends, and we didn't think that was necessarily the direction we should go.
Is that our instructional specialist?
It would be them, lead teachers, etc.
Yeah.
If you look at economically disadvantaged, like I told you, that's all but 2 of our schools. And so that becomes such a huge number that it really washes out the impact of the money. Plus, the idea is that differentiated compensation is supposed to compel people to a certain action. In this case, you would want to compel them to go to low socioeconomic schools. Well, again, that's 90% of our schools, so we don't believe that money, especially washing out the way it is, would encourage someone to go to those schools. If we were a district of 7 schools, 1 being low SES, then I would definitely go in that direction. Then we looked at stipends for teachers in critical shortage areas. The issue with that is we do believe moving forward in the new salary schedule, and this is something we're talking about over the next month before the June meeting, that could be something we could put in place that would attract people in those critical shortage areas, which those 3 critical shortage areas are defined by LDOE. They are high school math, high school science, and K through 12 special education. It's not really going to make a difference this year, plus that's a number of people that it would give a very, very large amount of money to, and we feel like it would probably create some hurt feelings amongst the district. So what we finally settled on was the 4th category, which is highly effective teachers. These are your people that and it's not just their NIT evaluation, because we know sometimes subjectivity can creep in there. This is their overall evaluation where they have, it is the NIT evaluation, but it's also their VAM data or their LEAP data and all those different things. What I can tell you is I was talking to a superintendent today because we're all trying to figure out different ways to do this, and really it seems people are only doing two things. They're either doing highly effective, and this is the ones I've talked to, or they're doing the low socioeconomic, but again, that's when they have like one or two low socioeconomic. And so I was talking to him today, and he said, well, my problem with doing that is, and this is a C district that I'm referencing, I won't say the name. He said, we're a C district, but 60% of our staff is considered highly effective. And he admitted that that's not a good thing, because if you're highly effective and you're a C, those things don't go hand in hand. Well, I told him, I said, well, I'm proposing 88 people who are highly effective get a stipend. And he said, well, how many folks do you have? And I said, we have around 400 and some odd. So that puts us actually below 20% highly effective. And really, that's not a horrible ratio when you consider we're a B and we're growing. It could be probably a little bit more, perhaps it could be even a little bit less, but I feel like we're in a good area there. So what we're proposing is, and it's purely we have to spend this money. The only other option would be, and I actually don't think it is an option, would be to return this money, but if it is an option, how can we look at instructional staff and say, we had an ability to give some of you more, and we didn't take that opportunity. I can't imagine that, although I have heard of some folks thinking of that because they just couldn't find a plan. So we are asking to expend this money at this point for this year in our first rodeo, so to speak, with a $1,600 stipend to our highly effective people. It can only be, and this is by virtue of the policy, it can only be to those who are in the highly effective range. The LDOE put these policies out and we're just following them. We have some wiggle room on some of it, but this is, but those pieces we have to follow.
And at the end of school.
And at the end of school. Now, what we would like to do moving forward for next year is we would actually like to go to those critical shortage areas so we can put that in our salary schedule and say, hey, math and science teachers, yeah, you see your bottom line, but realize too, we can add perhaps $1,000 or $2,000 to those pieces. But at this juncture, and realize some of this came to us later in the year because LDOE had to get their guidance together. We just feel like this is the best option of, I'll be honest with you, some not so great options.
Any discussion on this item? Because again, the criteria is very tight. And we're in the gray area of three of them, with the exception of this highly effective. Interesting statistic, if we have 20% and they're a C and they have 60%, does that mean their grading scale may be a little skewed? Who knows?
What that typically says, and Dr. Brumley has brought this up, is statewide, and I don't know what it is statewide, but statewide, the amount of people who are measured highly effective when compared with the results the state is putting out there, there's some misalignment there. And not that we're wanting to not label people as highly effective, but that does need to carry some weight and mean something in terms of results as well.
Especially with something like this.
So why wouldn't we do the latter with the critical shortage at this particular point?
Well,
I had this conversation just 2 days ago.
So I'll be honest with you, the critical shortage area, again, it's supposed to compel someone to do something. So we feel as though that's more of a motivator if we put in the salary schedule moving forward, because it would compel them to then come to us. The other issue is we were really trying to balance two things, Pastor Harris. If one of the categories gave something to everyone, but it was so minimal, we were like, okay, that's not a good option.
Right.
After taxes, they can maybe go to Trail Balls for a dinner. Or the other thing was, if it was so few people and such a high stipend. So on the critical shortage, it was such few people and such a high stipend that we felt like it was a little bit of an outlier. So that's why we went this direction, which was really, it was kind of in between everything.
How few?
I think about,
10 to 20.
no, it was actually more than that. It was close to 50, but it was,
Very slow, very slight.
yeah, but again, we could do if we're trying to go after something for next year, we can do a combination of these things where you could do $1,000 stipend for the critical shortage, and then you could do something for the other pieces. But at this point, we have to allocate the money by June 30th. So this was, for lack of a better way of putting it, the cleanest,
So
easiest
LD
option that balances those things.
So LDOE already has basically a formula, you say?
What they do is, I think it's $409 times by the student count.
Certified employees.
Oh, by the certified
Certified
employees.
So they already have.
They have this way of calculating.
Yeah,
Okay.
within the MFP form.
They give the board discretion how to exactly put it. How to run.
Within the guardrails, yeah,
Guardrails,
like, they give those 4 areas, and then there's areas within that, and then you get to make some minor decisions on some of the things, but they kind of pigeonhole you a little bit.
Is it an ongoing?
Yes, ma'am, we believe this is gonna be,
Supplement.
that every year MFP comes up, and so they can change it every year, but we do think moving forward, this is gonna stick with us. Now, how much they fund it at will be a question every year.
Yeah, MFP is
And
a
that's,
funding.
and that's the MFP they gave us, what, last
August of this school year, yeah.
Also, you now know why we delayed the salary schedule, because what he just got to talk about, we're gonna put in the salary schedule we developed next month, for next year.
I just want to make sure.
Which would be good for the critical
Right,
shortage.
I just want to make sure that.
Oh, I'm in total agreement. It's just, that truly, I'm just being completely transparent. It was trying to balance those things because the obvious reasons and everything.
Right.
Okay, any more discussion? Ms. Reynolds, can you give us a roll call vote on that?
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Benfield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps? Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Prater?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Oh, that completes finance.
Ms. Palmer, thank you for that lengthy report.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Dancy.
We want to take these.
So,
We have item 8A, we have a speaker, and so I'd like you to break that item out.
Okay. Item A, discuss and consider approving recommendations for Assembly Policy 814.6, student participation in athletic programs.
Mr. Kevin Shanahan would like to speak to this item. Mr. Kevin? No, we haven't yet. I'll make a motion that we accept this item. A second.
Good evening, I'd like to
Hold on, Mr. Kevin.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Dancy. Now, sir, I'm sorry.
and Mr. Shanahan, I'll do the time. You know, you've been here enough to know we do 3 minutes.
But let's talk about where we landed after the committee meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, starting out, I'd like to reiterate that I'm speaking as a private citizen, not as a reporter tonight. Last meeting, I learned something by accident that I found to be quite disturbing, actually a lie by omission, not by the board, but by the Louisiana High School Athletic Association, that requires a C average. So it's a good idea. It's a little lower than I'd like, but I can live with the C average. Turns out that that is a 1.5 GPA. Because a 1.5 GPA can be rounded up to a C average. In what rational universe is a 1.5 a C average? It's a D average. The kid should not be playing sports. And it's a lie by omission. We tell people that, oh, we have a, you have to have a C average. You don't really have to have 1.5 D average to play. And it's within the board's power to require both a C average defined as a 2.0 average. It's a C average. We are not asking for a whole lot for a kid to play a high school sport. Talking to some people, not on the board, but talking to some people in church and other places, that I hear about, oh, the kid's a good player. I don't care if he's a good player. Doesn't matter. We are not doing that child a favor. If that child manages to graduate, somehow decided a contract to play a sport in college, and he or she will find himself woefully unprepared, and we own that. We need to hold our kids to a higher standard. We need to hold them to a standard that even approaches the standard of excellence we require them on the field. We require much less of them off the field, and I don't think that's correct. Sports should not drive high school 30 years after a child's graduation. The education is infinitely more important. And I really think that a C average should be defined as a 2.0. Anything less is not a C average. How am I doing on time?
You have a minute 5.
Minute 5, okay, I was gonna sing a couple operas, but no, I think that we should be intellectually consistent. C average is a 2.0. It's not the board's doing, it's the Louisiana High School Athletic Association. Yes, I know we will be competing against schools that take their relatively loose definition, but what is more important, that our athletes we're doing good by them, we're doing well by them. We say what we mean, C averages and C averages. We're not asking for a whole heck of a lot. We need to do, I was a teacher for 4 years in Red River Parish. I've been covering sports. I've seen a ton of kids that it's kind of ugly when they get high school athletics is over and they are ill prepared for a life out of high school. We should do better by those young men and women. So I'd like to ask the board to at least amend that to make a C average equal to a 2.0, not a 1.5, which I quite frankly think is a lie by omission. And I know we can't do anything about the LHSA, but we can do something about our own school district. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Perfect time.
Thank you, Mr. Shanahan. Board members, discussion on this side. We looked at it. If you read your program, where we landed 1.5 grade point average or higher, have a discipline record for the current grading period, which is free from expulsion and or 2 suspensions. That's our yellow changes, and the rest are constant from the original proposal. Shanahan brings up a very interesting point about the grade point average. We do also have to consider that a lot of times this is what keeps some of these kids in school and off the street. I don't know as if we have a perfect scenario to do both. The 1.5 grade point average is something that most districts use. Any more discussion on this item?
We wouldn't happen to have a number of how many had to be rounded up to be able to play, do we?
I mean, if the board so chose, you could table the item and I could collect that data for you to see the impact it would have at Lakeview and at Central.
Just curious if we did that.
I think that's, that 2.0 sounds more acceptable. It should sound more acceptable to us as a board, because we know 1.5 is a failing grade. And I think we should ensure that those students receive the tutoring that they need, the counseling that they need, telehealth. We had discussions about that. That all available, not just to athletes, but the students across the board, to ensure that they do the best that they can academically. That is failing, and we're not, I totally agree with you, we're not preparing them to do better after receiving that diploma, and you have a 1.5, where are you going? What college is gonna accept you?
Trade school? This is including every class they're taking, right? All 4 kids, whether.
Well, it's actually up to y'all. Y'all could do it as a core GPA, or you could do it as a collective. It was my understanding that this would be the collective overall GPA.
So, but with this, you educate me here, I don't know. So with the 1.5, that kid could fail and still participate in the sport?
They would not be failing because
It's
passing. It's passing, but it is extremely low. And
So the 1.5 is still passing?
Yes.
And maybe one class though, not.
You may,
Actually a D.
you would definitely have some failures in that.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have.
Yeah, there's mathematically, you would have some
Capacity
failing classes.
You'd have
Or I guess what, like, what, I mean,
D and F.
So you can't
Could a
pass
kid-
math and science with the 1.5? That would be a D, right?
You could have D,
You
I'm
have an
sorry,
A.
you're correct. You could have some straight Ds and some Cs and mathematically get there, but more than likely, you're gonna have some Fs in there. Just more
Fs.
than,
A and E and F.
It
How
may
many
be-
Fs in the different
in the
courses?
overall, yeah. It may not be your final grade, but you may have some Fs in there that got you to the D. Now, your final grade could be an F in some classes,
right.
but you could also have all Ds and some Cs, and that could, at some point, get to a 1.5. So it
So-
would be passing.
So the kids with the 1.5 that's playing the sports, could they still play and just get some tutoring
Remediation.
at the
Because
same
you do it in
time?
college. You
They
remediate
don't
in
have.
college.
So
yes,
just
they-
realize that
remediation courses.
Anything y'all put in a policy, we have to enact, and so what does that look like, you know? We have after-school stuff already, it could be that it
Should be
compels them,
remediation.
anything below a 2.0 compels the school to, but again, those are things that,
Unfunded mandate.
unfunded mandate, yes.
And we actually, we know the reality of it is we doing this because a lot of the kids, some of the kids throughout the district and throughout Louisiana and everywhere else, we lower that so that we can allow those failing kids to play
So
athletics. We're not doing them no favor.
I don't disagree with anything Mr. Shanahan said. I actually agree with Billy too. I think they don't have to be mutually exclusive. These can be things that try to attract students, but we also need to have a standard. We don't know if it's an issue yet, to Mr. Fraser's point. If we don't know the data, because potentially right now we may, I'm just throwing it out there, we may have no athlete that has below 2.0. I don't know if that's the case. I doubt it is the case. But if y'all would, this is not an item that has to be hurried up and finished. If you would like to table, I can bring you data to say, hey, we only have 2 kids, which actually make up less than 1% of the entire district who this is an issue for. And if that's the case, coaches can deal with that internally.
Right.
But if we say that 50% of all athletes right now have a 1.5,
Well, we got an issue.
then we have an issue.
And I would like to know either way.
I think we want to know the
We
numbers.
need the data.
Okay,
And I would be willing to bet any situation where a kid has less than a 2.0, those coaches are making sure that those kids are getting extra time,
That's right.
right? After class, it's just happening. Every coach on the planet, it behooves them to do it, right?
Okay, a couple items here. Is 1.5, is that during the current semester, or is that in the past semester? And
You can-
up to date?
You can,
See, we don't specify, we say 1.5 was, well, if they were a 2.25 last semester, and they're bombing out this semester,
Should be that.
I was
would think
worried
the current
you had
grade
to
year.
keep.
I think so
I was
too.
encouraging
Okay,
you.
would someone like to amend this motion and, to table this until next month?
I'll amend the table until next
And I'll
month.
second.
Okay, we have an offer by Mr. Fredo and a second by Pastor Harris to table this item until, next month, which, we need to vote on the amendment first before we move forward.
Yes.
Roll call, a vote yes means table, a vote no means we're moving forward with it. So, Ms. Ruggles, are you ready to catch up?
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps? Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed to table.
Thank you for that insight, Mr. Shanahan. We lost Vic.
Yeah, we don't have a B. We got a C next. I don't,
There's a-
I guess
on
B,
there that shows C.
B's been removed, I think.
It's
No,
hidden.
B was
Oh,
policy
it's hidden.
814.70.
On yours it shows
It's
B.
showing on mine.
The C on
On theirs it shows C. I don't know why that is.
Discuss.
We have an A, C, D, and E.
Okay, it might just, it might be just,
Well, we've been having some board
Yeah,
docs
assembly was
issues.
down yet, not assembly,
It was down yesterday and today it was not responding.
Let us respond, has this being item B?
yes.
Okay, because when we get that refreshed, Yours is gonna be the official document, so Mr. Danzy, this is item B.
Item B, discuss and consider approving of recommendations for Assembly Policy 814.7, substance testing of athletes.
I'll offer.
Second. Okay. She got it.
Ms. Palmer, okay.
No, Ms. McGaskey.
Ms. McGaskey.
Oh, Ms. Benson, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
And we just took what y'all did in
Discussion.
committee and
Yeah,
plugged it in for you.
that's why this is what we
So we're
asked.
looking at the one with the yellow highlights.
That's right. We asked for the full board participation in this discussion. And there was a lot of discussion on this last Tuesday night. It's good. Any discussion, board members? Okay.
So with the first positive result, they have options, right? Am I reading that correct?
They got to test.
They have to test positive and then they're out for 30 days until they can test negative. And then also there will be disciplinary action within that, but that's in the student handbook.
So for the first positive or altered result, the student and the parent shall either agree to the written plan for substance abuse counseling, and at the end, approved by the board, or be denied participation. There's an or in there.
Be denied participation if they don't agree to it.
Yeah, if they don't agree to it, then they're just automatically,
play.
yeah. The or is for them to work this.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, you were gonna add 30 days in here, didn't you?
Oh, I apologize. Yeah,
Okay, board members, we're not ready to pull the trigger quite yet.
That's on what part?
because on first positive, well, no, that's first positive result.
24 hours.
We do.
It says be denied participation in interscholastic athletics for the period until they are able to test negative. The period should be 30 days. That was left off of there.
Okay.
That's
So-
my fault there.
Okay, so do we have an amendment to table this?
I move with table.
I'll second.
We have an item by Mr. Dancy to table our drug testing policy, second by Mr. Parker Page. All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay.
Item D, discuss and consider delay.
Mr. Dan, can you hold just a second?
I'm sorry.
Gotta catch up.
And we're gonna call the next one C.
Okay, see. Yeah, okay.
So we're tabling this so we can have some further discussion.
No, ma'am, it's just, I have to add that 30-day piece.
Oh, just to add the 30
Yeah,
days in?
and I
Because
took
know
that
we
note.
discussed the other specifics.
I took that note and just totally forgot to add it.
Okay.
No, we're all confused.
Dr. Eloy is already starting to delay school. We ain't started. Thank you for putting this together, though, it's really good.
There's a district that will not be named who had such a difficult response to a major storm that they've now delayed. They've now delayed or canceled school since then 3 or 4 times because they're so sensitive to it. Yeah, they're so sensitive to it.
May I ask on the policy 814.70, what was missing?
On the first test, they're supposed to be able to, it says until they test negative, but we had said that's a 30-day period until they can test.
Yeah, they're not even allowed to test again until 30 days is up. And then if they test positive again, it would.
Then it goes to the, yeah.
Second bullet.
The second bullet?
Second bullet, yes, ma'am. That period is 30 days.
Ms. Kanika, I know you did this, but I forgot to give you that note. So.
So that wasn't discussed last night?
It was, I just,
Because I didn't see that.
it was, Mr. Benefield brought it up, and I took the note, but I didn't pass it along to you.
We'll fix it. I'd rather do it this way than have to come back next month and fix it.
Give us something to do in June.
Go ahead, Mr. Dan.
Okay, we're ready. I'm gonna call this ABC, I'm gonna call it C. Discuss and consider delayed start procedures for the 2024-2025 school year. I'll offer that one.
I'll second.
Have an offer by Mr. Danzy, second by Ms. Barbara Page for this delayed start procedure. This is a very, very good document.
It's very important.
Any discussion on this item? I'm sure we'll find time.
So the only time we'll always announce by, at the latest 9. We also put in there that we could announce at 5 a.m., but I'm telling y'all, we wanted to put that as an option.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to avoid that option at all costs. Now, back in the day when we'd wake up and watch the morning show, you know, you'd see it scrolling across, it's perfect, but we don't do that anymore. The other piece is the only time that you'll ever intake for delayed start is 10 a.m. because we have to do a 2-hour pre-run of the buses.
There won't be any 9:30, 9:40.
It would be,
always 10.
buses roll at 8, school starts at 10.
Gotcha.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Danzy and a second by Ms. Barbara Page. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
The next one's gonna be,
Nate. Well, that's a delay. That's a delay.
yeah, discuss and consider adopting updated job descriptions for all non-school domicile positions.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second. Okay.
So we made the changes that we saw last time. I think business and student services needed some updates and a few minor things grammatically and things like that. But 200 plus pages, I think. Is that? Yeah.
Well, it says 218.
Yeah.
What's the reason coaches are not in here?
So coach is a it's an assignment. It's not the job, and there's some legal wrangling around that definition, in which I've been in court with. The issue here is, like for instance, I think right now we're interviewing Lakeview for the assignment of football coach, but their job is, which is teacher, so they would have a job description of that. Now, what we also do is we do have a contract that coaches sign that talks about some of the logistics and also talks about some of their duties.
Okay.
And so they do that separately, but they don't have a full-blown job description. I can talk to Mr. Geis and see if other districts put out a coach job description, but he's also aware of that legal thing, so I can get his.
Facility upkeep is the reason I asked.
Well, and we can definitely, if that's not currently.
Sometimes that's not being done.
Yeah.
So.
So there's two things. One, we can put that in that contract. Two, we can also, as a teacher, as actually all of them, duties as assigned by supervisor, we can just make sure principals are addressing that.
And every school will be different.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we need some flexibility with that. Okay, board members, any more discussion on this job description?
This is significant. It's been years and years and years since we've had this complete job description. This is great.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Benfield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps? Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Mr. Danzy, does that complete your report?
That completes my report.
Pastor Harris, do you have a message for this board?
Motion to adjourn.
I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
I mean,